Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota here in the US, and I am so excited to bring to you another online paper crafting class live here on YouTube. You're looking at me from a different angle. I am sitting on a stool today. I did a little damage to a toe last week, so and I'll tell you more about it in a minute, but it is Wednesday, August 26th, 2020, and I'm so grateful that you're still joining me on these Wednesdays. There's so much fun for me. I have a blast sharing and teaching my love of paper crafting. So I have a card that I'm going to share with you today, and this card is I've actually got three versions of it because I like to do more than one color version. But this card is a card that I'm sending out to my online paper crafter club members along with a gift that they get this month. And so I'm still trying to pull it together, and I thought, you know what, let's kill two birds with one stone. I hate that saying because I love birds, but let's think wisely here, right? And we can use this card in the class today because it's really pretty. It's one of the basic kinds of cards though, so it doesn't have like all this elaborate stuff like last week's card did. It's not a fun fold, but it does introduce you to the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine if you haven't seen it yet, and it works with metallic papers. So you're going to see some fun ways to do things with our metallic papers. So welcome everyone. I'm looking off to the side here because I can see all your comments rolling in, and it makes me feel like, yay, we have a large class today. This is awesome. I'm seeing so many familiar names. So thank you for joining me, everyone. And I will read the comments after the live is over. I can't comment on them afterwards, which is why I have Kayla with us today. So everyone give Kayla a warm welcome, give her a hand. Kayla Corey is going to be my moderator again today. Trisha Josephs usually is my moderator, but she had to take a couple weeks off. And so Kayla is stepping in for her. And Kayla, you did a great job last week. I'm so excited that you're back with us again this week. So thank you. If you see Kayla's name pop up, she's got the little wrench symbol next to her. She's the one who's answering questions, trying to share information that people might be interested in knowing. For example, the measurements and supplies will be shared in my blog soon after this video is done being live. And so if you want that information, you can go to the link that's in the blog, in the video description. But also, the video description does include the supply list right now too. So if you're interested in what products I'm going to be sharing as I make this card today, you can always refer to that. I do want to note, because I know that we have some hearing impaired and deaf viewers, I still don't know how to get the closed captioning to work while we're live. I know that it works afterwards. Some of you are commenting, all you have to do is click on that CC button, but it doesn't appear until after the live is done. So my apologies to all of you, but if you are lip readers, then hopefully my little video in the corner throughout will help. So thank you for joining. I'm so excited. Okay, so let's go ahead and move to the computer now and see what supplies we are going to be needing for today's project. So you can see we've got the Rustic Retreat stamp set, which is coming back. I used that a couple weeks ago with my little tiny t-shirt cards. And then we're going to use the brushed metallic cardstock. That's one of our new products. All the Trimmings ribbon is a new product, and so is the Evergreen Forest embossing folder. They all are in the new mini catalog that started August 1st. No, August? Yeah, I think August. August 3rd, somewhere around there. Anyways, the beginning of August. It's been around for just a few weeks. And then you can see off to the right the measurements that you'll need. If you want to, and if you're able to, you could take a screenshot right now so that you have it handy. You can start cutting that paper right now and follow along with me if you want to. Oh, and I do mention the "or" word in a couple of those supply lists because the first version that I made uses the Cajun Craze and the soft suede. The second card uses the Poppy Parade with crumb cake, and the third one uses the Old Olive with So Saffron, and I've paired them up with three different brushed metallic cardstocks. So you'll see as we go. The Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which is shown at the very bottom there, that is available September 1st, and I have some wonderful news to share with you about that. So this is the new machine. You can see here, I'll just slide this out for a minute. You can see how beautiful it is. It does fold up, so you can easily, store it away. You can carry it. It's portable. It's like a little mini purse. And someone said last week, that's a heavy purse. Yes, it is. It's not too bad. I mean, it's I don't know how many pounds it is. I suppose I should have weighed it, but I did not. Anyways, I wanted to tell you, because this question came up during the live and I didn't catch it till afterwards, but I know Kayla did answer it, that we have a magnetic pad that we've been using with our big shots lately, and this does work with the new machine. But the new magnetic platform, I should say, is also debuting on September 1st, and it's going to be better. The issues that I had with this one is that the magnets, as you can see here, I don't know if you can see, but there are little circles there. That's where the magnets are sitting underneath this layer here. And so if you have a tiny metal die and you put it maybe in the middle here, it's going to move on you and pull to one of the sides. The new magnetic platform that goes with our wonderful new machine is a magnet throughout. It's also got a self-healing mat on it. So why would it have a self-healing mat? Because I believe it's going to be a little bit thicker, because they say that you only need one cutting mat with it. So I believe it's going to be a little bit higher, and that you just place your paper and then your die right on it. I'm excited. I'm going to invest in that one, so I will be able to share it with you later on. But yes, you can use the old magnetic platform from the Big Shot machine, because it's just as thick as the platform and die adapter that we have now. So you just replace it that way. So let me grab that platform, because we might as well just have this set up. So this plate that you can't see through is the plate that's going to work with our thicker embossing folders. And if we were using our regular embossing folders, we would use a combination of these two, which are actually thicker, right? Because you can have a thinner folder with this, and you're going to have a thicker folder with that, and you would place it between these two with a thinner embossing folder. But with a thicker embossing folder, we just place it here, and then we put this plate on top. So we have that set up and ready to go. Let me introduce to you the brushed metallic cardstock. It's so weird working from a chair, you guys. Oh, let me tell you what I did. So those of you that are up on knowing about my family's affairs, you know that Nick, my oldest son, who's in gymnastics, fell off the parallel bars a few weeks back. I want to say it's just a couple weeks, maybe it's a few weeks now. I don't know. Anyways, he broke his bone in his pinky, and it's in the process of healing right now. By September 1st, he's going to be able to drum again and play piano, hopefully, all that stuff. But in the meantime, 9 days afterwards, so a day after my last live, I broke a bone. I broke it in my toe. We got some new couches from my neighbor across the street, and the feet on the couch, they're different. They're different than the ones I'm used to, and I was carrying stuff in my hands, not looking where I was going. I stubbed my toe super hard. So I have a broken toe. It's fun. This is the brushed metallic cardstock. It comes in brass, gold, wait, let me think now. Bronze? Is it bronze? Hang on, I have to look at my computer. Bronze. It's bronze, gold, and copper brushed metallics. So I looked it up. I looked up metallics and brushed metallics online to see which one of these was the gold and which one was the bronze. The gold is the yellower one. The bronze, even though it seems lighter than what a bronze would be, that is the bronze, less yellow. So this is the brushed bronze, this is the brushed copper, and this is the brushed gold. Then I wanted to compare those with our current metallic, just regular metallics. So we have gold metallic cardstock as well. You can see there's a slight difference on the colors. So you want them all. And then we have This one here, this is our brass. Our brass is actually a little more orangey than our gold. It's hard to tell with this lighting, sorry about that. And then this is our copper, which is pretty comparable to our brushed copper. Our brushed copper looks a little more brown. Ooh, it definitely looks browner in this light. And then we have our champagne and silver metallic cardstocks. And you can see silver, if I put them together, silver is definitely a bluer, a cooler type of metallic. This is more warm. It's kind of got a pinker tone to it. And I thought that that one compared more to the bronze than any of the others. But again, they're all different. So if you want lots of different metallics, those are our selection of metallics. Let me bring in the Rustic Retreat stamp set. This is the stamp set. I did use it again. I used this little message here when I made those little t-shirt cards. So you'll want to go a couple of videos back and check that out. But this is Rustic Retreat. It's a beautiful stamp set. We didn't get to go to the cabin once again. So I don't know if you recall, but if you've been watching my videos, Nick broke his finger the Tuesday before we were going to go to the cabin before. And then I broke my toe the Thursday before we were going to go to the cabin. We have to keep pushing off these weekends up north. So we've only been to the cabin one time this summer. My siblings have been up there more, and I'm so jealous. I'm happy for them, but I really miss my parents and I miss the lake. And so this stamp set just stood out as one I had to use right now. And I'm going to be using the Thinking of You sentiment from it. I'll also be using this wonderful new embossing folder. This is called our Evergreen Forest embossing folder. And you can see that there's a lot of depth to it already just in looking at it this way. But it's a thicker embossing folder. We'll have that one set up over here. We're also going to use all the trimmings ribbon. And I am bringing in a few color variations of it. Let me zoom in here. So what I did is I took my blends markers and I took the Poppy Parade one. Oh yeah, look at that. I used that up, didn't I? I took the Poppy Parade one and I colored it with our new cinnamon cider marker. So this is the dark cinnamon cider, and then this is the olive color normally, and I colored this one with I think it was the navy. I better check that, but I want to say it was navy, which is so weird, right? So, oh no, this one was not navy. Navy one I threw away. This one, this one is the, what is it? Bermuda Bay, dark Bermuda Bay. So you can change the color of already colored ribbons with your blends markers, just so you know. Okay, what have I not shared? I feel like I'm totally off today. Let me make sure that we've got, comments. I want to share the comments really quickly. So let me dive into that super quick here. Okay, last week we had some wonderful comments roll in, and I just wanted to point out some that were shared. I love hearing where you're from, so definitely chime in. Chime in just to get entered into the prize drawing. If you are chatting away and sharing your thoughts as we go, you're going to get entered into the live prize drawing. After the video is done, you can comment on it in another section and you get entered into another prize drawing. So please comment, please share the video, please subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying this video, okay? So welcome to everybody, and a big welcome to the people that chimed in last week too. I noticed that someone here is from Minnesota, Mary Schreiber, and then where is it? Did I leave it in there? Yes, Karen, my friend Karen, is from my town that I actually was born and raised in, Brooklyn Center. She's from Minnesota as well. And Kayla, oh, Jen said, we don't drag out our O's. I wasn't one that ever really said Minnesota with a long O, but there are people here that say Minnesota. I don't know where they're from, or I don't know where they live. But in the cities here, we say Minnesota. We don't really make it a really strong O. And so Kayla had to joke about that. Oh, and then she also said Snoda, Minnesota, because we did a snow card last week. What else did I want to comment on? Let's see here. Thank you for your comments about loving the card too. Dawn says she's going to make 100. Love it, love it, love it. And then we talked about the magnetic plate working. It does. Catherine was teasing me because I rarely use my Stampin' Pearson what's it called? The matte. When you want to use your photopolymer stamps, you use that Pierce mat, Stampin' Pierce mat. That's what it's called, because it gives you a little extra cushion, and I forget it every time. So thank you for teasing me about that, Catherine. Yeah, it's just fun to read through these. So thank you for sharing all of that, all your thoughts. Let's go back to the table. Okay, we're gonna start. So you want to take your trimmer to cut your base of your card. We're going to zoom out. It's really close. This is so weird to talk at this angle. I forget that I'm not talking forward. I have to look up a little bit here, so sorry. Okay, so we're gonna cut our cardstock in half. Now I have an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock with me right now, and I want to cut it in half so I have a more vertical card. So I'm gonna cut it this way. And we're gonna cut it in half at 4¼ inches. So if I zoom in, you can see the measurement is right here, 4¼ inches. And then we're gonna rotate it, and we're gonna cut it, or not cut it, sorry, we're gonna score it at 5.5, because half of 8.5 is 4¼ and half of 11 in this direction is 5.5. So I brought it to the 5.5 inch mark. I'm gonna use my scoring blade, which I've written on. It's starting to rub off, but just write the word score on it, or remember that your scoring blade is the light gray. So now what we've done is we've broken the fibers of the cardstock right in that spot, and it's gonna make it much easier to fold. You don't have to worry about scoring if you're one who's totally fine with having a little bit of, it kind of gives it a more wrinkled look, depending on which way you score your cardstock, if you don't have a scorer. You can also, there's other ways to score too. Like you can take a tool like a stylus or a bone folder, put a ruler up there and go like this. But I tell you, our trimmer is awesome. You'll want it. So now we have our card base ready. And I'm just creasing, I'm making it an extra strong crease with a bone folder. You can also do that with a fingernail. So what I did was when my club members ordered this month, they got a half a pack of the metallic cardstock, or they're going to get it because I haven't sent it yet. But this is what they're getting. And they're getting it in an 11-inch size rather than 12-inch because it fits in the envelope and it fits the the size for mailing, right? So I didn't want to have to pay like 5 times as much for postage. So we trimmed off a little piece there, and I had all these leftover strips that were 1 inch wide. So I thought, well, I'm gonna make their cards with those 1-inch strips. What can you do with metallic cardstock? You can stamp on it. I recommend stamping on it with Stays-On ink though, because it's a coated surface, and the Stays-On ink will dry very quickly because it's a solvent ink. It will dry very quickly on there. I just realized that my phone up here for my camera is not plugged in to, there we go. Phew, we don't want to have it die on us. Okay, so I took a strip for each card. Actually, I'm going to use this one here. And then I used scrap portions of strips for an extra section on the card. So we're just going to grab the copper color. We're going to pull that aside. And what else can you do with metallic cardstock besides stamp on it? You can emboss it, and it's gorgeous. So we're going to cut a couple strips of the metallic cardstock, and we're going to cut it just under 5.5 inches. So I'm going to cut 2 strips that are 5 3/8, and they're already 1 inch wide, so 1 inch by 5 3/8. And this piece wasn't quite big enough for what I wanted to stamp on, so that's why I brought in an extra scrap. So this is what we'll stamp on, this is what we'll emboss with, and I have all my other pieces ready to go. We also needed a layer to go on the inside of our card, so that will go in here. We needed a layer here. The 2 strips are going to go on the side like that, and then we need a focal point for our card, which is going to go here. So you can kind of see it building up already, right? All right, so let's take and move these out of the way. Bring in our embossing folder. So how is everyone doing? I feel so odd sitting on a chair, you guys. It's just crazy. It will heal though. October 1st, I'm supposed to be back to normal. All right, so what you do is you lay your strips in here. And there was one time where I fit 6 on here, but because they kind of have a little bit of a natural curve to them, it was hard to shut the embossing folder with all 6 of them in there, because this will fit a 6x6 piece. In fact, if you don't already have the strips, emboss before you cut, okay? So you could take and put, you know, either a 2 inch by 5 3/8 piece in there to make one card, or you could make a 6x6 piece and then trim it down to those sizes. So we're just gonna lay it in here like that. I have the Stampin' Up logo showing up on top, and for my embossing folder, that's how it's going to emboss best. When you emboss, you want to lead with the folded edge of your embossing folder. It's just a more it's a better way of doing it, just so that you make sure that you're not going to have anything, you know, break or get caught up or whatever. So now that we've got that in there, I've got my extra plate on top, and now I'm just going to crank, and it's going to start grabbing it. Yep, I can feel it. It's grabbing the embossing folder, and as we crank it through, I'm sorry, you probably can't see me cranking, can you? Here's the crank. So it just goes like this. You just go like that. Then we move all of these things away. We open this up, and look at that. It's gorgeous. Embossed metallic cardstock is so pretty, you guys. It really shows off the embossing. So you'll want to do it. So that's one thing you want to do with metallic cardstock. The other thing is stamping on it. So let's get the stamping going. All right. Sorry, just peeking over at the comments to see if there's anything that I can catch. I know you're taking care of them though, Kayla. So I've got my Thinking of You stamp mounted on my block. It is a red rubber cling stamp, so I don't need my Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm gonna stamp, but I wanna stamp carefully. I'm gonna stand actually just a little bit here. I wanna stamp carefully because this is a coated surface and it's slippery. So when I stamp on here, I can accidentally slide my stamp. So let's see here. So come straight down. Try not to do any wiggling and pull straight up, and then you'll get a good look. Now let me show you how easy it is to wiggle. See? It's super easy to mess it up. So you don't want to be messing it up. Okay? Then it gets really smudgy looking. So this is the one we want. We're going to let it dry for just a few seconds. I do have my cleaner off to the side here. That's why I wrote down the scrub and mist. I think the scrub and mist are best for StazOn ink, because you can really press into it hard. Plus the cleaner is a cleaner rather than just water with the Stampin' Chamois or the Simply Chamois. So it gets pretty clean with the red rubber if you clean it right away. But StazOn ink will stain, so you want to stamp with it, then clean your stamp as soon as possible. Because we are using that ink for this portion, I just went ahead and used it for the cardstock as well, because you can stamp on cardstock with StazOn. So let's go ahead and open it up again. I'm going to point out, I do have the cap held in there with some dimensionals because you want to seal the odor in the StazOn pad as well. It's a very strong odor. It can mess with your brain if you sit there and sniff it, so don't do that. So we're going to stamp that down here, and then we're going to stamp another one. Another thing is the ink will dry on your stamp real quickly, so you want to stamp soon after inking up your stamp. And I cap my pad very often throughout. So you can see this ink is sitting on there. We're going to clean it. We're cleaning off to the side so we don't make the table shake too much, because it's already shaken enough. And you can see it's not, you know, totally clean like it was when it was new, but it's pretty darn clean, so we're gonna go with that. And then the last one is the cabin. We want to have the cabin on here. I have folded up my grid paper because we're going to do some coloring on our ribbon. So we're inking up our stamp, and we're going to stamp this so that the base of the cabin is kind of coming through the middle of the cardstock. Can you see that there? It's coming right through the middle. And that did not get stamped very well. We're going to flip it over. We have two sides. That means we have two chances. And if we mess up, you guys are just going to have to deal with me hobbling over to my cardstock and cutting a new piece. Yay, it worked. Okay. Phew. It's so much harder when you can't walk. You guys know that, right? All right, so there's that. We're going to cap this again. All right, so that stays on ink, a little introduction to it. Let's go ahead and color our ribbon now. This is our Poppy Parade ribbon from the All the Tidings selection. All the Tidings? All the Trimmings. All the, where did it go? There it is, all the trimmings. Okay, let's grab our blends. Here it is. We're using the dark cinnamon cider. So when you get these markers, you get them in a dark and light pack, and they blend together really well and make really fun colors on your projects. So we're just going to color this ribbon by going along one side all the way. And then because I want to make sure the color goes through, I am going to also flip it over and color the other side. Now ribbon does soak up a lot of the ink, so you know, if you're going to do this all the time, you are going to have to go through blends a little bit more often. You're going to have to buy more blends markers. So now I've flipped it over, and I'm just making sure that I've got all of that red covered up. Okay, so there's that. We're going to set that aside to dry, because if you put that on your cardstock right away, it's going to create smudges. You're going to see the blends marker come off on your cardstock. So we're going to set that aside to dry. We'll move this out of the way, and we'll get going with this. Let's trim this baby. Oops, I don't have my paper scissors. I have my ribbon one. So these are called paper snips, but I have a, oh, I got blends on there. Oh well. I have a snips that's set aside for ribbon, which is what this one is, and that's why I've put ribbon on it. But I've also got one for my paper, because paper dulls your scissors. And yeah, so I shouldn't be doing this with my ribbon scissors. I have an excuse. I have an excuse. There's that. We're ready to assemble. So I'm going to take my wonderful Stampin' Seal Plus. So this is Stampin' Seal Plus. We have two new adhesives. This is the Plus, and then we have one that's just regular Stampin' Seal. The Plus is a lot stronger, and because this is embossed cardstock, I want to make sure that I'm grabbing onto that cardstock even where it's embossed. So we're going to put this adhesive along the paper here. And sometimes you have to kind of move it to get it going. Hang on. There we go. So you pull, and then you tip forward to cut it off, and then you pull and tip forward to cut it off. So now I can come in here, and I'm going to put this right up next to the edges so I see like a 1/16, maybe even less, all the way around. It's about 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so that's on there like that. And you just want to press hard, and this one will go on the other side like this. And then you can open up your card to make sure that it looks like it's evenly spaced on there. This piece is going to go in the middle. So this piece is cut to 2 1/16 inch wide. You could cut it a little bit, oops, I forgot to tip forward. You can cut it a little bit shorter, like 2 inches instead if you want to, or you can make it wider and have it go underneath your metallic cardstock. But I liked the idea of having that 1/16 of an inch in between, like that showing. I think that that looks stunning to have that extra black stripe between the layers here. This piece is going to get layered onto here, but first we're going to tie the ribbon on. And you know what, I'm just going to make sure that that's dry, so let's put this piece on the inside. This is our inside layer. If your tape, your Seal or Seal Plus, gets to the point where it's hard to make it come out, just grab the tape where you've already taped it. You know, you can get it going like this, and then if you've got some tape down already, just go back over where you've taped, and it'll help grab it again. Someone mentioned last week that the silicone sheet will help too. Yes, it will. I'm finding that I don't want to have that sitting next to me all the time though, so I just try to grab it onto a piece of adhesive that I've already pulled out. Now we're going to tie this, and it's going to be a little stiff. When you add the color to it, it stiffens just a little bit, so just kind of scrunch it to get it going again, to get it soft, I should say. And we're going to tie this right through the middle. So, thanks. I saw a fun little comment come through. Thank you. You guys are enjoying this, huh? Awesome. It's not a fun fold. I feel weird. I have this fun fold that I've been wanting to share for like 3 weeks now, but it's been an interesting 3 weeks. We'll just say that. Okay, so now once I have my bow tied, I can pull on the leg of my bow to shorten the loop and just kind of, you know, pull at it again to tighten it if I want to. You can adjust it. It's easy to adjust afterwards. We're going to trim at an angle here. See, I knew I needed my snips for ribbon. I forgot about cutting that other piece though. And now you can see it's not completely centered. It's centered enough for some of you, right? Like you're thinking, oh, Rachel, you're so picky. But if you just kind of curve your cardstock, you can kind of adjust it and make it go more in the middle or more where you think the middle is. Now we're going to flip it over. And we'll put our adhesive on. See, it's not grabbing again, so I'm just going to come over here, get it going. There we go. Oh! Okay, it's working. It's working. I refuse to give up doing lives because of my toe. All right, so now we've got that stuck down. This piece is going to go on with dimensionals. So I pulled out my black dimensionals. When you get black dimensionals, you get them in a multi-pack. So you get 2 sheets of the larger regular size and you get 2 sheets of the mini ones. You can see I'm definitely a fan of the larger ones, although, you know, the mini ones work too. It's just, it takes me more time. But here, we'll put on a couple mini ones. We'll go like that. And you can just pull the backings off and look at that. It reveals that those dimensionals are black all the way through. Can you see that? So that's great for, you know, when you're going to work with darker cardstock. It's really awesome to have that kind of hidden there, right? So then you can put your dimensionals in the 4 corners. And the nice thing about this is I've got dimensionals here, and then I've got dimensionals here. And when it goes through the mail, when I flatten this out, it's really only one thickness of dimensionals, if that makes sense. Okay? So this card, except for maybe the ribbon, although the ribbon's kind of tiny, this card might take just a 1 ounce stamp. I have to weigh it, but some of you ask that sometimes when I'm demoing. You say, you know, does this require extra postage? Last week's I think did. It was very thick, had lots of layers. This one, I don't know. I think you could get away with it. So there is the finished card. I have 2 other samples to share with you. I hope you enjoyed that. So this is our Cajun Craze. This is our soft suede. This is our basic black. I love black and white in my bases of my cards, don't I? And then we have 2 other versions here. So this is the, oh, and this is the copper. This is the brushed gold with the old olive that matches this ribbon. I didn't color that one. And then I used So Saffron for the coordinating main cardstock here. I picked a color that kind of went close to the metallic, so I thought soft suede looked pretty close to this copper color, and the So Saffron looked pretty close to the gold, the brushed gold. Same thing on the inside, it's just that it's got the green layer with the trees down there. And then the last one is using the bronze, so the brushed bronze cardstock with this is crumb cake cardstock, and this is Poppy Parade, which matches the ribbon. So the only one where I really colored the ribbon was the version that had the Cajun craze. Same thing on the inside. So bright, isn't it? When you open up that poppy one, it's just like, whoa! So those are the 3 versions of the card that I created today. What else do I want to share? We're going to do prizes next. But if you are interested in shopping for any of these products and you are not a demonstrator already and you are looking for one, you can go to my blog at stampyourartout.com and you can click shop and you can purchase these things. Now in the description of the video, all of those products are linked to my online store, so you just click on them and it'll take you right there. What else do I want to share? Okay, we're going to take that off. Let's go to my computer again because I want to share who the prize winners are. Oh, from last week. Let's do those first. So last week's winners. Hang on, I'm going to set up my computer. Last week's winners. There we go. Last week's winners won a tutorial from me. And it's an all-star tutorial, a pick of any of the all-star tutorials that I have in my tutorials for sale section. So you're just going to go to stampyourartout.com, which is that address again, and you'll click on the classes menu. Once you're there, you click to tutorials for sale, and you can scroll and you can see anything that says all-star on it is a tutorial option. Here's another all-star tutorial grouping. So all of these down here. So if you're the winner, you're going to go here first, and then if you go to the very bottom, so I'm just going to go back to my home page here. If you go to the very bottom, there is a way to contact me. My phone number's down here. You can email me, but you need to reach out to me if you're picked, because I can't get a hold of you. So yeah, anyways, reach out to me, please. And let's see, let's go back to the table because I want to share with you the prizes for this time. So this time, let's move the cards out of the way. I have stamp sets that haven't been claimed by anyone yet. I have 5 of them. Now, a few of them just have one stamp that I used out of it. So they're very they're in good shape. And then there are 2 that are completely new. So these are the choices that I have, and I couldn't go down to my bin to pick out any more. But these are the choices of stamp sets that I have as offerings for prizes. So if you are a winner, a live winner today, you get to pick from any of those. If you are a winner picked next week, you'll have the remainder of the 4 to choose from. So let me tell you who got the prizes last week, which is the tutorial. I'm going to pull that up and bring it over here. Ta-da! Robin S. and Rosebud, you are the winners from last week's Snowflake Splendor Flat Fold card drawing. So thank you so much for commenting after the live was over. You 2 all get to pick a tutorial. So, and who do we have? Oh, here, let me take that off. I'm going to come back to my desktop so I can peek and see if Kayla has made an announcement. So let me go back over here, click on the live stream. I'm going to scroll here really quickly. Oh, she has picked somebody, Carol Wallingford. Congrats. Yay. And thank you, Kayla, for writing in my email address. That's very helpful. So yes, congrats to you. You get to pick from one of these stamp sets. So make sure you reach out to me and grab something. Grab something up, right? Thank you, everybody. I hope that you had fun. What do I want to say? Next week is September 2nd. Can you believe it? It's already September next week. And I'm going to do my live again on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. I hope that you are able to join me. I probably will be standing by then. This is all fresh and new right now. This darn toe. But hopefully I'll be standing by then, so I'll feel back to normal. And maybe I'll bring that fun fold to you that I've been wanting to share with you, I hope. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already. I am Rachel Tessman on YouTube. I don't know. It's not Stamp Your, I mean, I suppose you could search for Stamp Your Art Out, but you're here right now. So subscribe now. There's a little bell next to the subscribe button as well. And when you click on that, you can change your notification settings too, so that you can get notifications when I go live. I hope you all had fun. I did. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and I think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else before I sign off. That's it. It feels weird. I'm done already. I'll talk to you later. Everybody go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.